Welcome to 626OhanaCA, California podcast number 30.
Where we talk all things Disney, theme parks, and travel.
I'm Brad.
I'm Kim.
And in this week's news, airline news, American Airlines, well, they're using duct tape and you won't believe what it's for. Delta Airlines is putting some new menu options out there for you. Southwest is changing their freaking flyer program. And then there's also a lot of cruise news this week with Carnival Cruise Line banning a controversial item. Norwegian Cruise Line is going to be traveling to where the U.S. State Department doesn't want you to go. And, of course, the christening of the new Disney Cruise Line ship and a ton of theme park news. So let's go ahead and get started.
Welcome to the busiest travel time of the year, Thanksgiving. There's an estimated 18 million people that are expected to travel via flight from November 26th to December 2nd. With November 25th, the busiest predicted travel day of the year with over 50,000 flights in the U.S. airspace.
I would say that's a little busy out there.
That's insane. I can't imagine one day, but I guess thankfully I'm not an air traffic controller that has to monitor that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, can you imagine the airports this time of year? And we may be actually traveling this time part of the year, too. We're not sure yet, but yeah, we're going to be trying to avoid LAX at all costs at this point.
All right, so some of the things you want to think about right now is you want to arrive early because if you get stuck in traffic, trying to get another flight later might be really complicated with that many people traveling.
Yeah, and also, of course, this is the time of year you have really bad weather. So you could have snowstorms come in, rainstorms, I don't know,
There's a lot of bad weather predicted, especially on the East Coast this year.
You can almost you remember the whole problem that Southwest problem had that one year where their whole system crashed too. So you could have those issues too.
And not to mention, there's a shortage of air traffic controls, especially Newark Liberty International Airport, which had 400 flights delayed on November 17th. So I would make sure that I checked all my flight times on the websites or apps before I went to the airport.
Oh, a lot of fun. So, in essence, have a plan B in case something goes wrong, I guess.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't too long ago. We were on a Southwest flight, and we were already delayed. It was the last flight out of the night, which I don't think I'll ever do again. But one of the passengers got in a hurry and was lifting up his carry-on bag into the overhead bin. And, of course, at that point, the overhead bin was already quite full. But he unfortunately ended up picking up his carry-on with too much momentum and hit the flight attendant in the head and the side of her ear, which caused her to bleed, and it was quite a thump.
Yeah, and really the problem that they had is you have to have so many flight attendants on board, and they didn't have anybody at that moment to replace her.
So they had to actually get her checked out to see if she could fly, which from the sound of things, I would have doubted that from the initial moment with the amount of force that hit her, because we actually saw it.
Yeah.
Which was shocking. And then she had blood like pouring down out of her ear. So that's how much momentum this suitcase had. Okay, well, so my point is we were actually on a time limit of where we had to get something. So Brad and I turned to each other and we were like, what are we going to do if this flight gets canceled? Because we had to be in Arizona from California by the next morning for something important for our son. And we couldn't miss it. So we were like, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to drive? Are we going to try another airline? Are we going to try LAX? So that taught us an important lesson, I think, is to think about plan B if things don't work out.
Right. On the way back, we are actually facing a different problem. We're leaving and weather. And unfortunately, the airport we're coming into, which is Burbank, closes at a certain time. So we almost didn't make it back into Burbank before they closed, which, again, we had to have a plan B to get back, so we had to be back.
So it actually kind of helps to know those flight rules, because we know if you fly into Burbank, which is the closest to us, is that if you're after 10 p.m., those airlines actually incur a fee. And if it's after 11, there's a hard cutoff that there's no way you're landing. Even 10:30 is a little iffy, but 10:30 to 11, I would be really nervous about if your flight was delayed. And 11's a hard cutoff, so if you know you're going to be getting in after 11, they're telling you you're going to go, I'd seriously question that and start thinking about plan B.
All right, let's go ahead and go to our first story we kind of alluded to, which is American Airlines and duct tape.
All right. It seems like people are still getting a little unruly in the sky. So, unfortunately, there was a passenger who was duct taped after trying to open a plane's door mid-flight at 30,000 feet from Milwaukee to Dallas. There was a flight attendant in the main gallery, and the man stated to her that he needed to exit the aircraft now, while growing increasingly agitated. The flight attendant luckily signaled a nearby passenger who rushed this man and actually got him into a bear hug, and another flight attendant brought duct tape, and they actually bound his hands and legs and wrist by duct tape.
Yeah, who knew they had duct tape on board for the cabin crew?
I think I've heard about that before, but it's rarely ever used. But unfortunately, this flight attendant was, this gentleman had rushed her and hurt her back and wrist. So it's a little scary. I mean, we're still hearing news about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's kind of a good idea to have. If you need it, you need it.
All right, we have to apologize. There's construction going outside of where we're recording, and it's been all day, and we really can't do a whole lot about it. We're sorry.
We're trying to get back in podcasting, and this is the one time we actually had a chance to do this. And yep, so if you hear noises outside, we're trying to, but it's not gonna. Yeah.
All right, moving along. Also, American Airlines has expanded technology to crack down with annoying guests on the ground, aka gate lice.
I never knew there was a name for that.
I think it came out about social media, but nobody knows exactly where. But these are your line cutters. So basically, these are the people who are trying to board the plane before their boarding group is called to get better, I don't know, make sure they get overhead bins or something. I
would say probably the overhead bins space with American is probably the most likely cause, unlike with Southwest.
Yeah, Southwest is just trying to get better seats, I guess. I don't know. I've never tried this. We're usually pretty good rule followers on that regard.
Yeah. So what American is going to be doing is their system is going to be flagging passengers attempting to board the aircraft before the designated boarding assignment is called.
So this technology was piloted in 3 airports last month, and they've now decided it will expand to over 100 airports.
Those who have a companion in an earlier boarding group will be allowed to board earlier. Gate agents will be able to override the system.
American Airlines came out and said the technology is designed to ensure customers receive the benefits of priority boarding with ease.
I get it, because there's times when you have a certain group or a certain type of ticket that you want to board during your time, and I get it. If you're the last group on, you're probably not going to be able to have that overhead baggage space.
It depends, but I also see where if somebody tries to go ahead because they just want to sit or get on the plane, you could be holding up other people from getting to their seats and therefore delaying takeoff, especially if a lot of people are doing this.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. It's I guess they have their own procedures having the board and everything that they see as fast as. I've never seen anything that works 100%. So,
all right. So Delta Airlines has announced a new in-flight menu options. So, okay. I believe these take place in December. So Delta Airlines will offer new menu options for domestic and international flights in Delta One, First Class, and Delta Premium Select.
So some of the choices that you will have is a cocoa braised short ribs with broccoli and carrots. I almost want to say broccolini because it sounds more fancy, right? Butternut squash ravioli with pumpkin seeds and mild chilies. And for breakfast, they'll have a breakfast apple cranberry compote. Compote? Is that the way you say it?
I'm not 100% sure.
And this is kind of the thing that I have seen the story, and this kind of, I guess, a weird mix is that they're going to have Shake Shack on board.
So that'll be for first class passengers for flight over 900 miles. But get this, the menu will include cheeseburger, potato chips, side Caesar salad, and a brownie. No.
At first class, I mean, this is the whole thing. Is people are like, I like to have Shake Shack, but...
Where's the milkshake and fries?
There we go.
That makes the Shake Shack experience, which I know that would be impossible on an airline, but
I don't know if I would want a Shake Shack burger other than airline chicken.
I don't know. I'd have to see the other choices. I mean, if you put it up against the cocoa braised short ribs, I'm taking the cocoa braised short ribs.
I mean, we've had some pretty bad airline food in the past before. But I just don't know. I would want a Shake Shack burger.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what the quality would be like after it's already like been pre-made and reheated. But I guess that's might be how it is. And
how about an In-N-Out burger though?
Ooh, In-N-Out. Okay, but how do you keep it that fresh? Like, I don't think it'd be as fresh as from the locations.
Yeah, but their fries are always cold, so they can get away with cold fries.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, let's go on to our next airline news, which is Southwest Airlines. They're updating their existing frequent flyer program starting January 2025.
This will allow passengers to redeem points in combination with cash payments when they don't have enough points or they don't want to use up all their points, so they save some.
Yeah, so current passengers do not earn rapid rewards on cash payments towards mileage tickets. And after the update, cash payments will now generate points and contribute towards the earnings threshold towards an A-list and an A-list preferred status.
All right, I'm going to be honest. I don't really know Southwest as well. And I have a feeling in the next few years, we're going to get to know them very well just because of our son and going to school. But, anything that makes reward programs any better, I think it's a good option. A lot of cruise news.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start with the Carnival Cruise Line. And I guess it is controversial to a lot of people that they're banning this one item.
So Carnival Cruise Line is banning boomboxes, radios, and all types of speakers. So this includes Bluetooth, portable, and wireless.
Yeah, and we can see what the problems are. The problems are in common areas such as the pool decks and restaurants. People have been playing them.
And also they're saying that you can't play movies or TV shows without headphones or earbuds. That makes perfect sense to me because
some of those movies you watch are kind of racy and if you have kids around.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Or, maybe I don't like what you're listening to and I want that peaceful vacation and I don't, I'm looking to get away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life and I don't want to hear what you're listening to and be forced to.
Yeah. And then, of course, a lot of people do use them for speakerphones. So they're trying to crack down on those speakers using for phone calls, which, I mean, if it's a good story being told, I like to listen. But most of those things, it's like, I don't want to hear it.
Right. I think this is just common courtesy. I understand, especially I could imagine like, you're at the pool and everybody has different music going and that all of a sudden it just becomes loud and chaotic. But I mean, once again, Carnival's known to be loud and chaotic.
Yeah. And then let's go to some more Carnival news. And this one I don't like.
Okay.
And we just understand we haven't cruised Carnival Cruise Line. But, I mean, this is something that we'd like to do after being out having a few drinks at night.
Okay, but I think once you hear the alternative, you may have a little bit different opinion.
Okay. So the late night pizza counters are to close at 12 a.m. instead of 2 to 2:30 a.m. now.
So there was a lot of complaints made about late night long lines. They basically would make made to order personal pizzas. So they weren't ready to go. So that would really back up that line and, people want to go to bed, have that greasy snack and go to bed.
Yeah. So their alternative is late night dining will now be open on the Lido Marketplace from 12 a.m. to 2 or 2:30 a.m.
Okay, so the thing about the Lido Marketplace is they're not just going to have pizza. They're going to have other items too, which I think that's amazing. It is going to kind of already be made and you get the pizza slices. So it's going to
make things a little faster. Also, if you really want to wait, I guess you can still order in-room dining pizza to your stateroom.
Which, I mean, truthfully, if I really want to relax, get ready, order a pizza real quick, and while I'm getting ready, the pizza will come. But, I mean, we've also been on ships where late night dining can be an hour to 2 hour wait. So I guess it all depends because that's a 24-hour a day.
Yeah, but if you're going to 2 o'clock, sometimes you hit that, I'm going to order it, and then you hit that bed and you're out after a night of drinking. So
I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Oh, no, not at all. All right, let's go to our next Carnival Cruise Line news. Carnival Cruise Line is to commemorate America's 250th birthday in 2026 with a series of 10 themed cruises.
So there's going to be both East Coast and West Coast itineraries. It's kind of cool because 7 ships will meet near Celebration Key. And they'll basically like have a little party out at sea with all these ships. And then on the West Coast, 3 ships will meet near Ensenada. So these will feature special patriotic experiences. They'll have hosted patriotic birthday-themed deck parties and patriotic entertainment, food, and beverages. So a big old birthday celebration. I think it's fun.
Yeah, that's cool that they're doing that. And,
I definitely think it's a big celebration. 250 years. That's amazing. And I guess to have a good time out at sea and visit with people and have a good old party, why not?
Yep. Okay, let's go to our last Carnival Cruise Line news. There's a lot for Carnival this week. 50 Carnival cruise ships will now have a new casino system.
So casino games developer Galaxy Gaming has announced its Galaxy Operating Systems, GOS, featuring advanced jackpot programs that grow as players place bets, creating larger potential jackpots. So I think these are kind of like what you would think of maybe as what used to be like the side bets, and the pot grows until somebody wins it. All right, new jackpot has already paid out over $500 million.
Okay. So you can get a first-class cruise.
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, a few cruises, depending. The system has new digital tracking system to better understand player behaviors. Now, that's kind of interesting. Like, I'm curious to see what that means. It's very vague.
Well, it's funny thing is from in the past I've read things, is a lot of cruise lines want people who want to play games. They'll actually give them free cruises to go gamble because they spend so much on gambling.
Right. This last year, we went on both Norwegian and Royal Caribbean, and we kept hearing people, especially on Norwegian, of people liking to gamble a lot, and Norwegian seemed to give out a lot of free cruises, and after so many points and things like that. So that actually kind of like upped their ante and got people really into like a little gambling frenzy, if you will.
So I guess, there are people who just love to go, that's the way they want to go gamble. It's going on a cruise, so.
Hey, if you get a free cruise out of it, I'm understanding.
Yeah, but I think how much you have to spend to get that free cruise.
Right.
Okay, let's go ahead and go to our Norwegian Cruise Line news. And this is kind of an interesting story, and I don't know how, I guess go explain this, but the U.S. State Department has issued a level 4 do not travel warning to Haiti, while Norwegian is saying, hey, we're still going to be cruising to our private island on Labadee, Haiti.
So Labadee was interesting because because of uprisings and civil unrest, they actually stopped visiting Haiti earlier this year up until they returned in October. So that started to make people a little nervous. And we're going to go into explain what does level 4 travel warning mean and why it's a problem potentially a problem, because I don't know what to think about this one.
Yeah, and let's put it this way. The other countries that are level 4, this might give you kind of the idea of the severity, is Ukraine, North Korea, Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, and Sudan.
So these are usually level 4 travel warnings are usually issued to places where U.S. airlines no longer travel to. And the FAA banned all airlines from traveling to the capital of Haiti, Port-au-Prince, on November 19th after a plane was shot at during descent.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, was it during descent? I just guess it was in the area.
It was probably in the area, yeah, and I'd probably be guessing descending.
Right, and I know actually a flight attendant was struck in the arm.
Wow.
So I can understand, like, I have no desire to go to Haiti. But anyways.
So like Kim said, that NCL had previously stopped sailing to Labadee, and they did resume in October without any incidents.
So NCL says that Labadee is fenced off and has their own security around their private island section, and that it's over a 6-hour drive from Port-au-Prince, which is the capital. So they feel like that means that the civil unrest and issues are basically kind of, far away.
I don't, just from our experience, we have been Labadee before, a long time ago. And I remember going by the fence and so you could see the security that was there and everything else. But really, if something wanted to happen, I could see how it could not be secured too. I could see both sides how it could be not safe as well as they think it is.
Yeah, and NCL says that other cruise ports of theirs is actually closer to Port-au-Prince, such as Amber Cove in the Dominican Republic. That would raise a little red flag for me. I don't know if I want to be any closer.
I'm wondering if this is why you're seeing a lot of cruise lines like Disney and who else is it? Royal Caribbean are actually having their own islands that are their own whole island that they have.
Actually, the new one at Lighthouse Point is not their own little island from what I'm understanding in the Eleuthera in the Bahamas.
Oh, really?
They're actually connected, and there's other resorts nearby.
Okay. So it's more of a resort area?
It is.
And I can see that being feel more secure for the cruise lines to go into.
Anyways, so something to remember is the U.S. government has no jurisdiction over cruise lines.
Yep.
The State Department says, do not travel to Haiti due to kidnapping, crime, civil unrest, and limited health care.
Okay.
That's a little interesting because, those are all things I wouldn't want to have encounter.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a medical emergency.
Right. Well, I guess you have the ship. I mean, they're basically a floating hospital until
help
comes.
I guess it'd be how you feel. It'd be the ultimate guide to it is that you can stay on the ship or get off the ship.
And I guess they actually used to have some excursions that went to other parts of the island, and those actual part of excursions have been canceled. Mm-hmm. So that's something to take in consideration. Or I guess if you went there and you just want to stay on the ship, you didn't have to leave. But once again, if something happens, I don't know.
Yeah. And again, I'm going by my memory, and this is over when Kim and I got engaged. We went to Labadee.
No, actually, it was on our honeymoon.
Was that on our honeymoon?
Yeah, we went to Labadee on our honeymoon.
So it's been a little bit. It was a nice area. I mean, we enjoyed it, but it wasn't. I don't know. It was like I said, we did walk to the wall, and you did see security on the wall at that time too. So I guess it's kind of up to you.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, there's so many pretty places to go. And quite frankly, I think there's other private islands I'd rather go to. Mm-hmm. And I wish maybe Royal Caribbean, they put a ton of money into this place. And I guess that's why they don't want to just outright abandon it. I don't know. Maybe they could be like Disney and have multiple, and then you could choose if you'd rather go someplace else.
That could be an idea. All right, let's go to our next NCL story. And Norwegian's going to be canceling 38. Or they have canceled 38 upcoming sailings in 2025 to 2026. And these are going to affect the Norwegian Jewel, Star, Dawn, and Jade.
So affected cruises are from October 2025 to February 2026. Passengers will be refunded and given a 10% future cruise credit. I don't know if that's enough. Just because, I know it's a year out. People take their vacation time off of work. They, like my employers before, we ended up having to ask a year in advance.
Yeah, and then also a lot of these people buy their airline tickets real early too, because they want to get the best deals, or they just want to get it all done and paid for, and it be done and ready to go.
So it's interesting because the Jewel, the Star, and the Dawn, there's no new itinerary announced. It's just they're not sailing at all. So it's not said if it's a refurb or anything else like that. However, the Norwegian Jade is just changing itineraries to Mexican Riviera for 7-day cruises out of San Diego.
Okay.
Now, I think it's kind of an interesting thing to think about is what if people want to stay on that ship, but they didn't want to cancel their room? I don't know the price difference. Maybe Norwegian should have ate the cost or refunded the difference if the other cruise was more expensive. Mm-hmm. Just so so that they'd have the option and tell them that they would have to cancel it themselves. It's kind of conundrum because once again, well, what if people didn't cancel it or see their emails for some reason showed up to the old place and wasn't canceled? I'm not sure what you do about that, but
I just think it's kind of
or maybe they should cancel them all and have a holding period where they could rebook the same room without any cost change unless they get refunded. And then after, 2 weeks, if they don't rebook it, then they open up to the general public. That way they could
giving them first ability to book on the new cruise itineraries.
Exactly. So if they decided they wanted to go to the Mexican Riviera instead, they would already have their room they picked first go and then open it up.
Yeah, that could be an idea, but Cruises get canceled. We happen all the time from weather or mechanical or whatever. I mean, it's just part of the deal. And I believe it actually says on their website that they can cancel them at any time too.
They do. All right, let's get into some happy cruise news now.
Of course, this is Kim's happy cruise news, which is dealing with Disney Cruise Line.
Disney christened their newest ship, the Disney Treasure, in New York City this last week with a beautiful light show which featured over 1,000 drones, and they had different Disney outlines of designs, and they finished with a champagne bottle hitting the side of the ship. And this is my favorite part of the whole thing is the godparents of the Disney Treasures are all employees of the Walt Disney Company. So you're talking cast members that are Imagineers, everybody down to, anything in cast members.
So anybody's employed by Disney is
a godparent.
Yep, that's kind of cool.
I love that. There's nothing more appropriate than that.
So the Treasurer's inaugural sailing is December 21st, 2024 from its home port of Port Canaveral, Florida.
They'll be offering 7-night Eastern and Western Caribbean itineraries.
I like that they're doing 7 nights here.
I do too, because we've talked about wanting to do the Wish, but with all the things that are on the Wish to do, 3 nights is not going to be enough to explore.
Were they all 3 and 4 nights, or were they just all 3 nights? I can't really remember.
There was 3 and 4 nights.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to do back to back and more expensive to get that 7 days.
Yeah, I don't like that. But so that's probably why we may not do the Wish anytime soon.
So the 7-night Eastern and Western Caribbean itineraries, it's cool to have a little bit of the variety of what you want to go on.
This will have 4,000 passenger capacity and 1,555 crew members.
Well, that's a lot of people.
All right, this is kind of cool. There are going to be 7 custom horns from the Disney Treasure.
Oh, this is cool. Yeah. One of them is Remember Me from Coco.
A Whole New World from Aladdin.
And Grim Grinning Ghosts.
From Haunted Mansion Parks. Yes.
And there's 4 surprises they haven't said. So there's guesses. I mean, are they going to, obviously going to have a When You Wish Upon a Star.
Maybe, but you know what? I'm sitting here thinking about, okay, so Remember Me, there's a Coco themed restaurant. I don't know what there is Aladdin.
Yeah, and maybe
Grim Gritting Ghost has, as we'll talk about soon also, is they'll have a Haunted Mansion themed parlor. So our other Aristocats, is there any songs from Aristocats?
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure.
I don't think they're I
don't know, but maybe like what would be really cool is like a Pirates of the Caribbean, like that theme song. Mm-hmm. Not maybe from the parks or maybe even from the movies. Yeah. But anyways, I'm excited to see what those 4 other horns are.
Well, could be something from the shows. So the shows are going to be Disney, The Tale of Moana.
It brings Moana's adventures to where they took place on the open seas.
So that would make sense for a song, truthfully.
And Beauty and the Beast. Oh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, I could see a few songs from there, but A Tale as Old as Time.
Yep. And also Kim was talking about the unique lounges on board, which is the Scat Cat Lounge, which is based on the 1970s Aristocat movie.
So it's going to be an old-fashioned jazz club with cat-themed cocktails.
That could be fun.
Oh my goodness. I'm so interested to see what that could be. I love that it's something very unique and different. Mm-hmm. One of our favorite things to go to is a dueling piano bar. I don't know if that would fit in with something like this, but I love stuff like that. And so does Brad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it would be kind of fun. So another, I guess, feature of the ship?
One of the things I am most excited about.
Yeah, I've heard about this ever since it was announced. Kim's been so excited about this, which is the Haunted Mansion Parlor.
So it's inspired by the Haunted Mansion with nautical twist, where guests are invited to the ghostly realm of the jovial sea captain and his strange but captivating fiancé.
Okay.
So there's going to be a statue paying tribute to Disney Imagineer Raleigh Crump. He had some ideas for a Museum of the Weird, which included a melting face that resembles the Candleman.
Okay. And of course, there's more eerie experiences and design elements that are going to be involved. A mysterious aquarium with ghostly fish.
And this lounge is going to be featuring spirited craft cocktails.
I can see this is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh my goodness. Okay, forget where it's going. Forget it's a ship. I'm just all in on the Haunted Mansion parlor. That's all I care about. Okay, I do care about other stuff, but I mean, if that was the only new thing about the ship compared to any other Disney ship, I'm sold.
Yeah, there's so much more, and there's a lot of things. I think this ship is going to be really cool. Just from everything, even what we just talked about, but what's coming up, we're going to be talking about, which is the Skipper Society Lounge, which, if you know anything about Disney and the Jungle Cruise, you know about the Skipper Society.
So this is going to be a nod to the Jungle Cruise attractions around the world, with familiar music, including spiels from Jungle Cruise skippers around the globe, speaking various languages, including English, Dutch, French, Cantonese, and more.
That's kind of cool.
That is really cool.
There will be natural colors and camp style furniture. So obviously you're kind of thinking that safari type vibe.
And of course, what Skipper Society Lounge would be complete without sly tributes to dry wooded skippers. Welcome the dad jokes.
Oh, I hope we had the backside of water.
Anyways, we can't wait for all that stuff. This is probably, I would say, what I'd want to cruise on next.
Mm-hmm. And wait, there's more.
Okay, now we sound like an infomercial.
There's the Periscope Pub, which is going to be inspired by the 1954 movie 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which...
It's going to have underwater lighting effects, portholes, and other nautical details.
It's kind of, in a weird way, kind of reminded me of Sam's.
Trader Sam's?
Yeah, in a way, because it has that nautical theme when you order the... I can't remember.
Oh, so you're thinking like with the drinks, they're going to have special effects.
Yeah.
Okay. I would love that too.
I'm hoping that's kind of what I'm kind of seeing from this, but that would be awesome.
So my question now becomes, is Disney thinking about something new with the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? Because, really there's not a lot of that in the parks.
Yeah, I know, because the submarines were supposed to be about the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and then they changed them to Nemo at Disneyland.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and of course, those were the Nautilus submarines at the time.
All right. I don't know. That's just a guess that we're taking.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting if they were going to reimagine it.
All right. And another big thing I'm looking forward to is the Aquamouth's water slide.
So this is a 2-seated raft water slide.
So the ride's going to be showcasing cartoon films before sloshing you out into a twisting rope of tubes. This is kind of like... I would think this would kind of be like a thing that would be at like, what am I thinking? Blizzard Beach or...
kind of like the water parks.
Yeah, the Disney water parks. And I'm not the biggest water park fan. I like them to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. But this being on a ship and kind of new, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, but those lines are probably going to be...
Okay, once again, Disney makes a...
Yeah, they know how to make lines.
No, I was going to say that's another maybe concierge park.
Ooh, I don't know. We'll have to see. All right. Wow, that was a lot of cruise news, and we're not done yet. So let's go ahead and get into our theme park news, and let's start with Disney World. And we talked about it. The Muppets are moving. Well, where are they moving and what's going on? Well...
All right, Muppets Vision 3D and Muppets Courtyard will be closing to make room for Monsters Inc. Land. And that area originally opened in 1991.
Wow.
In that area, they're going to have the new Monsters Inc. Roller coaster, which will be Disney's first ever suspension roller coaster and based on door vault scenes.
Okay.
I'm interested.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's a suspension roller coaster, so...
And then in the kind of Muppets Courtyard area, will be new dining options, stores, and a theater show.
Oh, I hope they don't take out one of our favorite restaurants back there.
Oh, yeah. I never even thought about it.
Yeah.
What is it? Mama
Melrose. And we love the Italian food back there. It reminds us of an Italian restaurant that we actually had in our Los Angeles area that we used to always go to that unfortunately closed. But yeah, I hope they keep it there.
I don't know. Because, I think that might be affected.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I just now in my mind redid our upcoming trip and have to change a dining option.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things you don't think about, but they were really good. All right, so where are the Muppets going to be going? Well, the Muppets will be taking over Rock and Roller Coaster featuring Aerosmith, which opened in 1999. So the Muppets are kicking out Aerosmith.
So construction is expected to start, Disney has said construction will be starting in 2025. Disney promises there will be plenty of time to enjoy the Aerosmith version of Rock and Roller Coaster and Muppets Vision 3D before they close. Okay, I want to know what their idea of is enough time.
You got 2 months. You're done.
I really hope they mean that because
this
is really controversial to me because I really, really love Rock and Roller Coaster with featuring Aerosmith.
That's a fun roller coaster, and it's fun to sing along to as you're going down the track.
It's just so unique, and I just love that roller coaster so much. I like the Muppets a lot, but I don't know if it was the right space for it. This is kind of the feeling I had when Disneyland California Adventure closed their Tower of Terror to make room for the Guardian of the Galaxy's Mission Breakout. I was very doubtful.
Well, hopefully they were able to do, because with that doubt became a really great ride. So,
but the caveat to that, I would say, is to me, I feel like we could still go to Walt Disney World, to Hollywood Studios, and we still had Tower of Terror. So I wasn't as devastated about that. Mm-hmm. There's no other rock and roller coaster left because the other ones overseas were already reimagined. Mm-hmm. So I'm really, really hoping that Imagineers do this justice for what they're taking away.
Yeah, and the funny part is the tunnels, those are, when you go through, as our son knows it, because we always drive that area through Los Angeles. And he's like, oh, the rock and roller coaster tunnels that we're going through.
So the Jim Henson Company did release a statement about the Muppets 3D because it is iconic. So they say that Jim Henson's final project was Muppet Vision 3D, now regarded as a true theme park classic. Innovation was always Jim Henson's North Star, and his trailblazing career led him to a unique challenge, a truly immersive Muppet experience where audiences are part of the happy chaos of the iconic Muppet Show. Originally debuting in 1991, Muppet Vision 3D combined 3D technology with real-world practical effects, alongside animatronic and live Muppet characters. The result was a one-of-a-kind Jim Henson experience and an unforgettable capstone to Jim's magnificent career. As we learn of the show's upcoming closure in its current form at Disney's Hollywood Studios, we look forward to Muppet Vision 3D's next act. Okay, whoa. Is there some hint in there? Like that last part is, are we talking about the rock and roller coaster? Or is there something else brewing?
I don't know. That'd be interesting because I didn't realize this was Jim Henson's last project.
Yeah, that's what makes this a little harder.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you watched this before and watched it up, the end part was when you're breaking through the wall and you kind of saw the old park that was once there that's no longer there.
Yeah,
it's kind of, I needed to be updated, but it's still sad that I didn't realize that was his last one because we love going there, especially in the hot Florida summer. It was a nice, cool spot, and you still got a laugh out of it.
Yeah, especially knowing that was his Jim Henson's last project, I kind of feel like that's touching a bit of history. And I guess this, some of us Disney fanatics will say, is that sometimes we don't like to see those things touched or reimagined. I know there's plenty of space at Walt Disney World. Why'd you got to go mess with that?
Yeah, and I get some of the reason they wanted to do it too. It's tough. I mean, even if you look at the Bears, Country Bears Jamboree and Disneyland, sorry, in Magic Kingdom, they did update that, and that was a Walt Disney project that he had his hands on.
Right, that was actually one of his last projects too.
So they're not afraid to do that.
I know, but there's a part of me that the historical part of it, like there's some things that should just be revered, and some things that the history just means too much. I know Walt Disney always said that Disneyland would never be finished, and he probably would feel that way about Walt Disney World too.
It's tough. I mean, again, it's like we're talking about with Rock and Roller Coaster. That's one of those things we always love doing. And it did definitely have some flavors of LA to it. So I guess for us, it was like, oh, yeah, we kind of know where these elements came from.
And I think I get the point. It really wasn't Disneyfied, if you will, or have those. It was kind of an outside thing, and they really never made a movie like they did Tower of Terror. Mm-hmm. So it's a little different.
Well, Tower of Terror wasn't a movie. It was. They
made a movie.
It was a made-for-TV special.
Okay, there you go. It was a made-for-TV movie special, but it was still a movie.
Yep.
We actually have a copy. It's not the easiest to get a hold of.
No, it isn't. That's actually really tough, and I really wish they would find a way to remaster it.
They are. You don't remember?
No.
Yeah, there was news. We even actually did a whole podcast on it.
Did we?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know they were remastering the film.
They're redoing, like reimagining.
No, I was saying remastering the original.
No, they're redoing the completely new cast, everything.
So let's go on to more Walt Disney World news. Lightning Lane Premier Pass is being extended to all Walt Disney Resort guests.
So these are not going to be just limited to deluxe resort guests. These are the passes where you can buy them, and we'll get into pricing in a few minutes. Is basically you get a front of the line pass to any ride at the park, whichever theme park you end up purchasing for, without a return time. So you get to go once per day whenever you want. So this will still include big ticket rides like maybe Tiana's Bayou Adventure or Rise of the Resistance, Slinky Dog Dash. What's some of the other ones you used to have to pay?
Rise.
Tron, and then Flight of Passage. Those are going to be all included with the other rides. It's not a la carte option anymore.
It's one purchase. You get to ride everything once to fast front of the line right away, and
you get to choose what time, so you could spread them out or do them all at once, whatever you'd like.
Yeah, and if you haven't heard this story, it's been very controversial through all of Disney of them offering this, but it's been selling out.
Yeah, this Thanksgiving week, there's actually multiple sold out dates at both For Thanksgiving week, there's been multiple sold out dates to Magic Kingdom and to Hollywood Studios,
which ironically are the most expensive. So let's go ahead and talk about, get into the pricing and kind of how you can purchase this.
So you can purchase these online up to 7 days in advance before your first day of your resort stay, up to 14 days. So if you're saying 15 days, then you're going to have to wait 7 days before your day 15.
Whew. If you're doing all the days, if you're there for 2 weeks, whew.
That would add up. And you can start purchasing at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep. So let's go ahead and get into what the prices are. For Animal Kingdom, you're looking at $119 to $199 plus tax per person per day.
And this is on top of your already admission price.
Yeah. So you're paying that bonus amount, I guess. Epcot, you're looking at $149 to $249.
Plus tax per person per day.
Hollywood Studios, you're looking at $249 to $349. Again, tax plus per person per day. That's not the most expensive one.
Magic Kingdom is $329 to $449 per person per day plus tax. But I think if you're looking at Magic Kingdom, at that point, you might just want to look at the VIP tour.
Yeah, I mean, holy moly.
Now, another thing to remind you of, just because if I go, let's say, and buy the cheapest one and go say, I want to buy it for Animal Kingdom, I can only use it at Animal Kingdom. I can't park hop and go try to use that at Hollywood Studios as well, or Magic Kingdom as well. That's just for the park that you purchased that day.
Yeah, and I imagine, you think about Christmas or something, I can see where some families would be like, you know what, we're only going to go for 4 days. We're going to hit every park and want to hit every ride and be done.
Or a long weekend and you pick one or two of them.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. But again, that's just...
Yikes.
The mouse is really picking your pocket here.
All right. So, in other news, Soarin' Around the World at Epcot has new update. So the end now goes over Epcot with the new World Celebration area is shown.
Which is great because, you know, it had the old Epcot scene for the longest time.
And then now the Eiffel Tower is straight and not bent, which was Brad's biggest pet peeve at Disney World, I think.
And I'll tell you, the best place to sit, if you're watching Soarin', to avoid it was the second, I guess out of the 3 rows, the middle row, and in the middle. You had to be dead center of that screen, and the Eiffel Tower wouldn't be as bent.
All right.
Everywhere else, it was bent.
But to take in consideration also the Soarin' Around the World at Disneyland California Adventure is still crooked. So they need to update theirs.
I think they should just go back to Soarin' over California.
I totally agree with that. We've had that argument forever that both coasts should be separate. Mm-hmm. But because this has kind of a rounded, not a flat screen, that's what's caused some of this issue. Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting.
And let the jokes pursue.
All right. So now, actually, this is going to kind of become an interesting topic because obviously this had a big effect recently was the disability pass in the United States parks.
Yeah. So what Kim's getting at is Disneyland Paris. The disability pass known as DAS is currently different in Disneyland Paris. And did they find a better way?
I think so because this obviously May 2020. Okay, so this past May 2024, Disneyland Resort and Walt Disney World in the United States changed their DAS pass, the disability pass, to basically only certain neurological disabilities, which the most common one that's always referred to is autism. So there's a lot of disabilities that have been left out. There's a lot of people very upset. Attendance across Walt Disney World parks in the United States is down. There's a lot of angry people about this one. But Disneyland Paris has done something really interesting. They have offering a new option, which is now available with a 25% discount on a disabled guest ticket and one other person with them.
But they must provide proof of disability on the day of visit and ID at all the ticket counters.
So forms of proof will be accepted in English or French. There's different kinds of ways that you can prove that you have a disability that they include on their website, which is a disability living allowance.
And attendance allowance award, a personal independence payment, a blue badge, Armed Forces Compensation Scheme, National Disability Card, Accreditability Access Card, a Recognized Assistance Dog ID Card, and what else here? Registration card known as the BD8 or a Certification of Visual Impairment. Whew, there's a lot.
So interestingly enough, these DAS passes is a priority card for over 40 attractions, meet and greets, show areas. And the interesting part is it also included for dining and shopping.
So are they giving you a discount too on top of it?
Yeah, which is
weird for Disney.
So you can request a card online 30 days before a visit. So I really like this system. Obviously, every system has room for abuse, and that was a problem that was plaguing
it was.
The U.S. resorts.
And I think part of that is our laws in the United States, is the way to put it, with HIPAA.
So one of the things I was like, wow, if you have a disability card in your, let's say those cards for the cars, you know, the license, the blue placards. Or red placards that they have. Maybe there's other colors in different states. I'm not sure. I think you should be allowed to bring those and put it in your bag. Oh, but then again, disability parking. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or letter that came with it.
Yeah, I know. I wish there was a better way here to do it. And it's a very frustrating situation. We've had to deal with it this summer. And we've seen people, I hate to say it, still find a way to abuse the system.
Right.
And there's got to be a better way for everybody on this.
And quite frankly, there's so many disabilities that have been left out or chosen not to be acknowledged.
And people that are basically saying they can't go to Disney anymore because of their disability. There's no allowance for it. And I guess we can talk frankly a little bit about what we faced this summer is when you're calling into those lines, it's not Disney answering those lines. It is an outside company that's making the decision, and they're told what they can accept and will not accept, and they are not necessarily nice people.
No, actually, they were. We were trying to get one for my mom who has a hidden disability, but it really does. She cannot stand in line. It's not something if she was put in a wheelchair or something like that it would fix. It's something that she would have to leave line and come back for and leave line. And then, at the same point, my point to them was, what if she had to leave right as we come up? And they're like, oh, just have her come back at the end and we'll pull you off to the side. Well, that means the rest of your party's waiting, however longer because they're with somebody who's disabled.
Yeah, if you're on a computer, comment if you want us to see us to do a video on this, because this is something that Kim and I, we've been talking about maybe doing. But it's such a complicated situation, I guess, to do it.
Quite frankly, I thought about, is there a form that could be filled out that a doctor could write that, yes, this person is disabled without disclosing what that disability is? I think that's something that a lot more people would be open to than... I know Disney doesn't want to break a violation of privacy laws, but there's got to be a middle ground.
Truthfully, I wish Disney would look at some of the way Universal Studios does theirs.
Right, and I think that there should be a letter or a form or some way, or even a generalized, this person cannot wait in line because of
and
whatever system of their body is affected, maybe. I mean, that's very vague. It doesn't... I don't know if that's even right or wrong or how other people with disabilities would feel about that.
Yeah, and it's a mess. And it truly is a mess for the cast members are not happy about it. Everybody's not happy about it because it's not helping anybody at this point in a way. Everybody's just frustrated.
And basically, even people that we've heard of has neurological disabilities or cognitive disabilities are... unless they're being put under one or two things, they're not being approved.
Yeah, and it's funny what you can say, not say, and get approved.
And it's also, and no, we're not going to share that because obviously we're not for...
We don't want an abuse of the system. That's what caused this. It was the abuse of the system, but it's hurting a lot of people who love go to Disney and can't do it now.
And quite frankly, truly do have disabilities.
Yeah, and if you're thinking that it's going to make it the system actually makes you go faster because you're everything else, it doesn't. It really, I mean, the system now is actually even worse. That if you they say you can check with the front of the line, we ended up waiting over a half hour longer because of the way the new system works.
So my mom ended up waiting. They had her pull out to near the cast member on the Lightning Lane area, and by the time we got a hold of her, figured out what we were doing or when to enter our call, we had bad connections. We had to wait longer for her to go through that line to get where we were. It really wasn't any way to solve it. And basically, cast members at guest services say we have nothing to do with it. We can't change it.
Yeah.
Just write a letter.
It's just bad all around, and that's my opinion on it. I understand. It's like I said, we don't want to see people abusing it. That's what caused it, but
there's people that really do need it. And maybe some kind of documentation from a outside party that's not just Disney's chosen third-person party would be a better answer.
Yeah, I really wish they would do something or figure something like they do in Europe.
Or people that can't do jury duty. If you can get out of jury duty, you have a disability. So if you can't write that you get excused from jury duty and bring that paperwork, and... I mean, I'm sure there's things...
There's got to be a way they do it.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way they do it. I hope that with everything, Disney starts learning on this. Because, I mean, basically what they're doing at Disneyland Paris is they're going to have a priority card for over 50 attractions for if you have the DAS. And you can request a card 30 days before visit. I don't know how their process is compared to what it is in the U.S. I mean, before the U.S., it was terrible. And it'd take you almost a whole day to be able to get through.
The only thing I don't like is a 25% discount because I feel like that's going to leave people up to try to abuse a system.
Yeah, because that's a big discount.
Right. So I wouldn't want to see that come to the United States. I mean, I understand why Disney, I guess you can't go as many thrill rides with a lot of disabilities. Mm-hmm. But at the same point, that just opens up. But
you're also getting a discounted entry too. So I don't know.
I don't know. There's not a right answer. And obviously, We're not disabled. We don't use or even never try to use a disabled system without my mom, who really does have a disability. So I don't know what the right answer is. Yeah. And I know that there's probably people go, but wait, you haven't thought about my disability. You're right. There's so many out there.
And we found a whole lot. And people were literally, and again, when they were trying to go through the thing and do it at the parks, we saw people coming out crying because it wasn't happening.
And that was heartbreaking. Actually, my mom was one of them out crying because she's like, I don't feel like I can go anymore. This is running my experience. And it was causing her physical pain to have to try to wait in lines. And there was just no compassion. Yeah.
And again, this was done by an outside company. So Disney could, I guess, it's not our problem. We hired this outside company. You're going to have to, no, it was not. I mean, the one guy literally just said, I need to go. You guys don't need it. And hung up on us, basically, is the point. It was not a Disney experience at all.
Yeah, they were actually quite rude. Yeah. Matter of fact, we put in a complaint about that because it was just so horrific how he was treating my mom.
And we weren't the only ones that had that complaint.
Anyways, happier.
Let's go on to, I guess happier, but let's go on and move on from Disney to Universal Studios Orlando. The holidays are going to be starting at Universal Studios Orlando on November 22nd through December 31st.
So that celebration will have a holiday tribute store, which I love tribute stores. I'm all in.
Universal Holiday Parade featuring Macy's.
They also have a character called Earl the Squirrel. He's a mischievous squirrel that pops out of the Christmas tree occasionally. They actually sell a book about Earl the Squirrel in the holiday tribute store and have other merchandise based on him. So they kind of created a fun little character.
That's cool. Okay, of course, what would be not the Christmas season without having the magic of Christmas at Hogwarts Castle?
Oh my goodness. It's just, that's the kind of thing that I get chills thinking about how beautiful that would be.
And of course, one of my favorite things is Grinchmas Who Holiday Spectacular. I just like the Grinch.
There will be lots of Grinch. They will also have holiday treats such as peppermint cheesecake bar or pistachio holiday wreath.
And they're also going to be offering a Universal Holiday VIP tour.
So this will be $99 and up. Plus, you have to pay a one-day admission or have like an annual pass. Mm-hmm.
And it has an exclusive meet and greets with Max and the Grinch.
Exclusive meet and greets with Santa Claus himself.
They'll have small plates, dessert, and non-alcoholic drinks.
And there'll be after-hours showing of the magic of Christmas at Hogwarts Castle.
And there's reserved show seating.
So these are limited tours, about 5 hours, and they're towards the end of the day. So some of this tour actually is happening after park hours.
Oh, that's really cool. I think for some of the things that they're talking about, like I'm sure the Hogwarts Castle, the magic Hogwarts Castle will be a big deal.
Right, especially if you have all that space to kind of, go out and kind of spread out instead of being shoulder to shoulder with everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, for Universal, I know we're talking about prices here, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, I guess if you put the RIP tour, but that's a whole different ballgame, and I think you get more out of the RIP tour, but that is way more expensive.
Yeah, there's so much going on at Universal Studios Orlando. It's really kind of cool. And talking about the Grinch and more Grinchy things.
Grinchy things, okay.
They'll have the Grinch and Friends character breakfast. It is a $58.99 adult and $32.99 child, ages 3 through 9. Plus admission to the park. So you have to pay that in addition to the admission to the park.
There is a 20% annual pass discount available for this breakfast.
So this breakfast is at Circus Mercurcus Cafe, Stupendous, and Zeus Landing.
Oh, that's a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
So there's going to be a lot of themed fooding like green eggs and ham.
Oh, who doesn't love green eggs and ham?
Cindy Lou Who, Belgian waffles, and other themed food.
The Grinch and other Dr. Seuss characters will interact with the guests during the breakfast.
Okay, that would be really fun.
It seems like it'd be a fun thing. I mean, I think Hayden would have loved it when he was young.
I think he might still, just to get in the mood of Christmas. They do have characters that go out and sing Christmas carols and whatnot. I think it'd be a really fun way to start your day, have a nice hearty breakfast, and feel like you're still doing something at a theme park.
Yeah, it's really cool what they are able to do with the space that they have at Universal Studios Orlando. So, I mean, that's really nice. So let's go ahead and go to our Universal Studios Hollywood.
Of course, all the fun cannot just be at Universal Studios Orlando. All the holiday fun cannot be limited to just Universal Studios Orlando. So starting November 29th to January 6th, Universal Studios Hollywood holiday season will be celebrated.
Ha! We get more days.
Right? You know, that's one of the first things I thought about is when I saw that.
But of course, we don't get all the stuff you get Orlando gets. They're going to have Christmas in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter as well. So those are two things: Grinchmas and the Christmas Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
However, we do get a new holiday celebration in Super Nintendo World. Take that, Orlando.
Which I'll have probably as soon as theirs open.
I know, but still, hey, for 1 year.
We get something. Characters throughout the park will be dressed in holiday clothing and accessories.
And of course, what's a good holiday celebration without holiday-themed food and drinks?
Of course, there's a Grinch donut.
There's a Max dog, which is a hot dog with beef, chili, cheese, and potato sticks.
Interesting.
They kind of look to me like onion. What are those, like onion crisp things?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Onion strings. That's what I'm thinking of.
And then there's a Grinch heart lemonade. It's a green apple flavored, light up cube, and 3 heart candies. Okay.
I want to try it.
I wonder how tart it is.
Oh, good point. But I mean, green apple, I think that's kind of more of a fall flavor than a Christmas. But what's a green Christmas flavor? Mint?
Yeah, but I think it's just more because of the Grinch, the green.
Okay.
So.
And there's a Who pudding, which is a strawberry and raspberry pudding filled with strawberry and raspberry jam topped with cream cheese mousse. Weird.
Sounds sweet.
It looks, but you know what? It looks really pretty from the pictures.
I mean, Universal does do pretty desserts, but
sometimes the flavor doesn't pack the same punch as you'd expect.
And then finally, they're going to have a Coca cookie, which is a chocolate cookie with warm spices and marshmallow.
Okay, interesting.
Mm-hmm. I mean, kind of what we expect at Universal Studios Hollywood. Again, the footprint of Hollywood is so small.
Well, I know in this, they actually used kind of like that Universal Plaza area for a lot of the Grinchmas stuff. Like they'll have a Grinch or a Dr. Seuss themed Christmas tree. They have the Grinch food out there.
It's still a fun time.
You know what? We're actually going for the first time next week, so I'm really excited about it.
We've seen it in the past because we usually try to avoid holidays at Hollywood because it's so busy.
But we're taking it on this year.
But we have seen I guess what we say after everything's been up and we kind of gone through before and we've seen it. So,
yeah, I really am excited for this experience. I think that the holidays at any theme park is a lovely time, and something to enjoy that's different. And I like cooler weather at theme parks because you have those hot summers.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's all our news for this week. And yes, we're going to be trying to do this weekly and we'll see how it goes. This is going to be our first time actually posting it on YouTube. So, obviously, an audio only this time, but we're hoping with new cameras.
And we actually want to get back in the swing of things before you guys, the edited versions, before you see us live and just kind of get back in the, a rhythm again.
Yep. So, with that, it's time for us to say goodbye and
find your magic. Bye, everyone.